Hello, I'm sorry, my connection just like jammed and I was disconnected, so I'm back. Hopefully, this time I'm going to be able to stream. And good afternoon, good evening. If you are here in Japan, good morning. Hello again, I'm Julianakawauchi from Let's Study Eikaiwa. And as I said, if you were watching before, I apologize, but my screen just froze and my connection was lost. So I'm back. Hopefully this time I'm going to be able to stream okay. If for some reason you guys cannot hear me, let me know, okay, in the comments. I'm gonna try to keep an eye in the comments. Well, apparently everything is okay. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about definite and indefinite articles and zero article. Do you ever wonder if you are using a, an, or the correctly? These articles, they can be a little bit confusing. So I'm going to try to clarify it a little bit more for you guys. There are many rules, so I'm not going to be able to give you or teach you all the rules, but I'm going to teach you some very important rules that will help you not only with your speaking, but also with your writing. So if you're preparing for the TOEFL or any proficiency, or if you just want to improve your speaking skills, this is the video for you. Second. Okay, so I'm going to give you an overall on articles. Okay, we're going to start with the indefinite articles, which are a and an. The indefinite articles, we use them with countable words, countable nouns in the singular form, because a or an, they mean one of something. So every time we can count a noun, for example, a book, several books, 2 books, 3 books, a car, many cars. These are countable nouns. Then we're going to use a or an. Be careful, because we do not use a or an with plural countable nouns, only with singular. And we also don't use this article or these 2 articles with uncountable nouns. Now, the definite article, the, we can use them with singular countable nouns as well as with plural countable nouns. We can also, actually we don't usually use the with uncountable nouns, usually. There are some exceptions and I'm going to show you one now before we start really having access to more details about these articles. So when do I use the with an uncountable noun? Look at this example. The coffee at Hoshino Cafe is delicious. So we know that coffee is an uncountable noun. There is no plural form. However, I am referring to a specific coffee served at Hoshino Cafe. So because it's a specific coffee, then I will say that the coffee at Hoshino Cafe is delicious. So we can use the with an uncountable noun when we want to give specificity to something, okay? Well, now let's check out the rules in general for using these articles. Let's get started. Well, the first thing, we're going to start with indefinite articles, okay? And we use the indefinite articles, a or an, when our noun lacks specific details, okay, for non-specific or unspecified things. When we are giving a general idea of something. Let's check some examples. Before we start, I would like to highlight the difference between a and n, because I see that it is confusing And many believe that we use it according to the spelling, but it's actually not the spelling of the noun. It's the pronunciation of the noun. So be careful with this. We use a, okay, when our word, when our noun has a consonant sound. A consonant sound. Look at our examples here. A book. So, a book. A unique experience. You see, in this case, I have a vowel. However, the pronunciation to this vowel is U. So, it is considered a consonant. Every time we have this letter pronounced as in U, we're going to have a consonant sound. That's why a unique experience, a uniform, a university. Our next word, a lecture, and a heart surgery. These are actually consonants, a heart surgery. Let's move on to the use of a N. N follows nouns that begin with a vowel sound. This means that we are going to have the sounds of A, E. We can also hear the sound of E, I, O, Un. See how it's different? Here we have the sound of Un. Look at our examples. An experiment. Look at this, an unbelievable finding. You see how it's pronounced differently from this one. A unique experience, a unique experience. An unbelievable finding. Another example, an umbrella. And look at our last example, we have the letter H. However, this letter is silent. That's why we say an honor. An hour. Okay, so every time we have a silent H and the word is pronounced as a vowel, then we're going to have an hour. Look at the difference. A heart. You have a heart. An hour. Well, I hope this part, I hope this part is really clear. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. And let's move on. Let's start studying the rules. Hello, how are you, JP Super Monkey? I'm glad you can join us. How are you doing? Well, let's start with A and N over here. As I said before, and I'm going to mention again, we use it when we're referring to a common general idea, right? Non-specificity, okay? This means that it's not a specific, I'm not providing specific details about the noun. And of course, when this noun is singular, but countable. Look at our example over here. She has a degree in economics. This means she has one of many degrees. So that's why she has a degree. Our next example. He's an astronomer. He's an astronomer. So he is one of many astronomers. I'm not giving you any kind of specific detail. So he's an astronomer. Our next example. This is an utmost experiment. This is an utmost experiment in our field of work. So this is an extremely important experiment, but it's probably one of many important experiments. That's why this is an utmost experiment in our field of work. Let's move on. We also use the before a noun when the noun has already been mentioned or is clear the context. What does this mean? If I'm talking about something in general and this same topic that I was just talking about, I'm going to talk about it again. I'm going to mention the same noun. Then I will use the instead of a or an. Look at the example here. We're going to talk a little bit about the definite article, of course, I'm sorry. So, an unexpected phenomenon was observed in the laboratory. The first time I used an because it's a phenomenon from many phenomena. It was an unexpected. Many could have happened. So I'm talking about a general idea. But the second time I mentioned this phenomenon, then I should use the. That's why an unexpected phenomenon was observed in the laboratory. The phenomenon exhibited a unique behavior when subjected to varying temperatures. So every time you mention a noun within a conversation for the second time or third time, then we must replace an, okay, for the phenomenon. Let's move on a little bit more of definite articles, okay? We also use the definite article, the, when we are talking about something unique, something specific, okay, that is known for both, known to both the speaker and the listener. Look at this example when we talk about our planet Earth. Usually when we speak on a daily conversation, on a daily basis conversation, it is very common to hear just Earth. But when we are talking about academic English, when we are writing, then we should place the before Earth because Earth is unique. There is only one planet Earth. The same thing is for sun. The same thing works for sun because the sun is unique. We only have one sun. So look at our example. The sun is the third planet from, making mistakes. I'm having trouble with my words here. Let's start again. The Earth is the third planet from the sun in our solar system. So both of them are unique. I should place the before them. Let's move on. Imagine a conversation between two friends. And of course, it's a conversation. The two friends are aware of what they are talking about. So the first friend says, I loved the movie we watched last night. This means that they're talking about a specific movie. So it's known to both the speaker and the listener. So I loved the movie we watched last night. When the friend replies, friend will say, yes, the movie had a great plot and the acting was outstanding. So again, the movie is something specific known to both of them. And the acting is also specific, okay? The acting, he is referring to the acting in that movie in particular. That's why the acting was outstanding. Well, I hope things are clear. Okay, let's move on a little bit. We are going to continue talking about the. We also use the before superlatives. Okay, superlatives is when we are talking about the highest degree of something, when we are comparing one thing to several others. Look at this example. It is the most significant discovery. So I'm talking about the biggest discovery, okay, when compared to many others that have been made. Okay, so that's why it is the most significant discovery. We also use the before centuries when we are referring to a specific century. Look at this example. The Black Death first appeared in the 14th century. I'm talking about a specific century, the 14th century. The same thing, I'm talking about a specific disease, the Black Death. And now let's move on. We can use the before adjectives, but when the adjective is being used to refer to a group or a category of people or things. Look at the example right here. The old and the young gathered in the park for the community event. So when I use the old and the young, I'm referring to a group of people. So this adjective is referring to a group of people. I must place the before it. The old and the young gathered in the park for the community event. The same thing happens with elderly. Elderly is also an adjective. But in this sentence, it's talking about, it refers to a group of people. The elderly are often in need of specialized care. The elderly people. Therefore, I must place the before this adjective, okay, which is functioning as a noun. Well, let's move on. Okay, our next topic to discuss is when not to use the. We don't use the. I'm sorry, I'm looking back and forth just to see if there are any comments because I don't want to miss anyone, okay? And if I do miss, please excuse me. Well, if you are not able to watch this live, don't forget to leave your comments. At the end, I'm going to provide you with my email. If you need further clarification, please reach out. I'll be more than happy to help. Well, as I was saying before, when not to use the definite article the, we don't use it before proper names and countries, at least most countries. Okay, I'm going to give you some examples in which we do use the article the. But let's focus. For most countries, we do not use the. Look at this example. I visited France last summer. I visited France. Another example, I live in Japan, but I am from Brazil. Just the names of the countries. As I said before, we also don't use it before proper names. Look at this. I saw Tanaka at the festival yesterday. Just a name. I saw Tanaka at the festival yesterday. When do we use the? We use the when we are talking about names of countries. And these countries, they include the words United, Republic, Kingdom, States, and Union. If we have one of these, we must place the. For example, the United States. I have been to the United States. I lived in the United States. We are always going to use the before this. The same thing works for the Philippines and the Bahamas. There's one thing that I did not insert in the slide, okay, but when we talk about archipelagos and the name of the country is a plural noun, for example, the Bahamas, okay, it refers to numerous islands, right, together which form a country. That's why we say the Bahamas. So every time we're talking about archipelagos and the name is a plural, okay, is a plural noun, then we are going to use the before it. Well, let's move on. When are we going to use a zero article? This means when are we not going to use any article, okay, any article, a, an, or the. When we're talking about a general idea, when we have a general meaning to our sentences, okay? For example, felines, such as lions, tigers, and cheetahs, inhabit the wildlife preserve. So, general idea, felines in general. Look how many I mentioned here, lions, tigers, and cheetahs. So, there is no article before felines. Also, when I mentioned when we have an uncountable noun, we normally do not use an article before it. It's also a general idea, as in water is essential for life. Water in general, okay? Finally, when we are talking about abstract nouns, okay? Nouns that express our feelings, our beliefs. So there is no article before it. Let's take a look here. Look, knowledge is powerful. So there is no noun. There is no article before knowledge. Another example that I could mention, perhaps, when we talk about education, happiness, these nouns, they do not they are not used with the article an, the articles an or the. For example, love has the power to heal even the deepest wounds, don't you think, guys? Well, I believe I have reached the end. Okay, I'm not going to just continue giving you rules and rules. As I said, there are many other rules, but I don't want you guys to run away from me. Okay, I want you guys to stick with me. Before we end this video, let's review a little bit. So, which one? Is it an or zero article? Let's take a look at our first example. So, number 1. Nanana Island in the Pacific Ocean was used for the experiment. So take 3 seconds. What do you guys think? If you said an island, that's absolutely correct because we're talking about one of many islands in the Pacific Ocean, okay? And remember that before vowel sounds A, E, I, O, un, or e, we place an. So an island in the Pacific Ocean was used for the experiment. Our next one, number 2, the steam engine was developed in 18th century. If you said in the 18th century, you are absolutely correct. Before specific centuries, we must place the. The steam engine was developed in the 18th century. Let's move on to number 3. Japan has a very traditional culture. If you said zero article, that is correct. Japan is a country, okay? It's a singular noun. Doesn't include the words like united, union, kingdom, and so on. So there is no article before it. Again, Japan has a very traditional culture. Let's see number 4. Okay. Number 4, bacteria exist everywhere in nature. So, what do you guys think? Again, if you said zero article, that is correct. Bacteria exist everywhere in nature. So here we refer, nature is being referred to a general sense, okay? Is being referred to in a general sense. That's why bacteria exist everywhere in nature. You can find it anywhere, actually. That would be the idea. Let's move on. There is one more, number 5. Access to clean water is universal human right. What do you guys think? So, if you said A, you are absolutely correct. Access to clean water is a universal human right. We are talking about one of many rights that humans have. That's why it's a human right, one. And remember that before U sound, we must place A. That's why access to clean water is a universal human right. Well, guys, this is the end, okay? I believe I have covered a lot with you guys. I hope I have helped you understand articles a little bit better. If you guys have any questions, if you have any suggestions, I am open to suggestions. And also, many times I make my videos, right, and basically in English. But if you guys want me to mix a little bit of English, Portuguese. I'm open to suggestions. I would really love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. As I said at the beginning of the video, there you have my email address. So if you want to ask me any more questions, if you need clarification, okay, I'm here to help you. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you guys nothing but the best, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.